we're gonna get that one viewer who's listening, and then he's just gonna leave because we're talking bullshit. Mm. What?
I forgot to unmute both of us. I'm sorry.
Yay!
Yeah, we're live now. How are you?
I I'm here too. I
You
don't know what game I want to play anymore.
yeah, he is the if you need to figure out which voice is which, he's the one on the left, I'm the one on the right.
I was actually the one in the sky this whole time.
You wish.
You see, I'm so high above the stream that you can't see me right now.
Yes, I can. Alright, so we're gonna start off with well, what is continuum shift?
A Blaze Blue game.
Well duh. What is continuum shift though in compared to the other one? Wow, we literally are getting Arc System Works. Arc System Works is one-upping us by doing their fucking character reveal right now as we're doing this. Okay.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, they're doing their character reveal for Strive right now. Anyway,
I'm gonna watch it while we're doing this.
so yeah, because no one cares about this. Anyway, Continuum Shift. It was the second entry in the Blaze Blue game series. This is gonna be very informal. I'm just letting you know this now.
Yeah.
It was also I can't speak for the first two versions of the game since honestly I wasn't really around for those. But what I can tell you is that Continuum Shift is not only considered probably one of the more hype versions, even competitively. It's actually considered one of the more balanced ones. The tier list actually officially for most people only goes from S, A, and B. Does not go below.
It's a Soul Calibur tier list.
And well, if you want me to explain the tier list to you, you know where Tsubaki's at right now.
Yes.
You know, Tsubaki's one of the like 3 B tier characters.
Tsubaki
Yeah, she's Tsubaki. Tsubaki hasn't really ever been good. I know she did work in this game, but she still wasn't exactly good because her gimmick kind of sucks. You don't want to be charging the Armagus in the middle of a really fast fight. Just letting you know that now. Jin actually is a B tier. Remember,
not
this was when Jin was considered a spammy.
be the best character in the game.
Nah, this is not Central Fiction. He didn't have that low sweep, and he was also considered spammy at this time. Remember, he had the C spam where he goes Ice Car had like the really quick frame startup and the
So then
long travel
who's the
distance.
best character in Continuation?
Ragna and Hazama.
Ragna, the best character?
Ragna,
Aw.
Hazama, and Relius Clover.
Oh, you're fucking lying.
And then Hakumen, I think, as well. Let me pull up the tier list. Let me pull up the tier list.
You said Ragna is like the second best character in the game.
No, Ragna actually is the best character.
He's the best character in the game.
Yes, let me find the tier list.
I
Is anyone playing multiplayer in this game? Or fuck no, they're not playing multiplayer in this game. I actually can't.
find the reveal.
It's on their channel.
It won't pop up for me on my phone.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the tier list. Yeah, S tier is Ragna, Tao, Kaka, Arakune, Hakumen, and Valkenhayn.
Whoa. How Kaka?
And then A tier is Bang, Carl, Hazama, Lambda, Lychee,
Oh.
Moo, Noel, Platinum, Rachel, Relius. And then B tier is literally just 4 people. Jin,
Are people?
Makoto, Tager, and Tsubaki. And
Also in that B tier.
well, I'll let you know why they're in B tier. Okay. This is the rest of the characters. This is as the description quotes. The rest of the characters with clear weaknesses.
Clear weaknesses. Okay.
Clear weaknesses. S tier is characters with few weaknesses, strong neutral game, offensive/defensive options, and good damage. Difficult to exploit weakness.
Okay.
I was playing Ragnar earlier today, and if you saw it, I know you didn't see it, but like some other people saw it. You don't actually have to be too consistent with your rush down, but you do need to just be oppressive. Because I was even able to like, I forgot who I was fighting, but I was able to just run them down with just like some basic stuff.
So basically, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Sure.
Because that's literally what Scorpion is. Or a better example, obviously, character and fighters who just like that. These Ultra Instinct Goku fighters. You just rush at somebody without playing the game.
What does Continuum Shift have to offer that other games don't? Well, in the words of the community, the transition came from CP. Actually, I didn't even finish explaining what Continuum Shift was. BlazBlue, as stated by Mori, way back, he wanted to be long, stylish, flashy combos with like a lot of creative choice, basically. That's what CT was, but CT was not balanced. Continuum Shift was that idea, but like actually refined into a proper game. Yeah, it had real strings, real block strings. You could invent a lot. Like as an example, no 2 Hazamas that I ever met played the same, like at all.
There's an actual standard for Hazmat.
If you look at this, yeah, Relius is fucking kicking my ass, but you can also see Relius has like a shit ton of pressure options, even as a puppet character, which he does not have in the other games, at least not as well, or as strongly.
Let puppet characters after Chrono Trigger go down basically.
No, because remember Carl.
Oh yeah.
Carl was broken until they fixed it. I didn't mean to do that.
What game did they fix it in? Was it?
It was the same game. They nerfed him in They nerfed him again. They nerfed Carl and Relius in Chrono Phantasma, and then they nerfed him again in Central Fiction. Well, Carl was de-nerfed, and then he got re-nerfed.
Okay. Because I knew Carl got
Because he was fucking... It was a single-player game against Fenrich in Grand Finals, and they didn't like that. I don't think anyone liked that. I don't remember what it was, but if you ask a lot of people, I think they were talking about the Carl was literally just carrying him, because there was nothing he could have done. Like, literally S tier. Well, he was broken. And then everyone was upset because they needed to patch Susanoo. Oh god, I'm dead. They needed to patch Susanoo so he was decent, and they couldn't. But that's not the game we're talking about. We're talking about this game. The game where when a special goes off, you can normally see the Well, I mean, you can do it normally too, but I've just been noticing it today especially. You can tell what cooldown frame you're in whenever a special goes off with the freeze frame, and you're just like, well, it's going to resume the next frame, so if I can't block next frame, I'm fucked. Speaking of, it's been too long since I've been able to block in the air. I'm actually rusty at it.
Air block.
But that was what Continuum Shift was. And not only that, if in the words of the BlazBlue community at the time when they were shifted over, you went from super scientific equation on the chalkboard on what the hell you could do and what you wanted to do as a combo into, little kitty build a block, put the shape in the whole thing. Because combos got really linear after this game. And that's where a meta actually started developing more than just the characters that you would play. As far as modes, I mean, it's the standard. The arcade was revealing the story before the game came out. Except unlike the other ones, this one, actually, everything happened that was in the arcade. It just built it up, building up, Hazama is the big bad villain. He's finally not being an NPC anymore. He's going to come in here, kick everybody's ass, which he did.
Hazama was really strong in that game.
And this was the last. Actually, this is the last game that Eric Davies even voiced before he retired. This is the last character he voiced besides, I think, one other. That's why we don't have him as Hazama anymore, or Terami. But anyway, I think he worked on this in Final Fantasy. Hakumen in this game was actually just busted. Like, not even, I wouldn't, he's not broken, but he was just busted if he got going. He could convert off.
Is this the game that he could do that infinite grab shit in, or was that
No, CF is the one he could do the infinite grab loop. This game is the one where he can convert off of literally fucking anything.
Yeah, I know that.
Then he can rapid and then make it go more. He can also.
I remember seeing gameplay of Hakumen for this game, and his conversion is actually stupid.
And then he could also delay some moves.
They removed it because it actually made his gameplay a lot more intuitive.
Oh yeah, like even I can play Hakumen in this game. I can't play him in the other ones though.
Yeah, it made him not only easier to pick up, but it just made it more intuitive and you felt more involved.
It also just looks like more of a badass this way too.
Yeah, and it seems more like how Hakumen would fight versus later on in the series.
Let's see. Let me go back over the characters again, because remember we also let's go over the menu as well. But back to the characters. Jin was actually considered spammy in this game because of the ice car. Scatter, dissipate, scatter, dissipate. It was like a frame 3 shot up on the ice car. It was either frame 2 or 3, and then he dashes. This is probably incorrect. I'm just guessing. But he would start up. This is just with the B version, and he would go like halfway across the screen, if not full screen. And if you didn't block it, well, good luck. Of course, you want to block it, but still.
Character select menu looks so different.
It does. I'm personally not a fan of the art style that they did for the characters, and I don't think it aged well, but I do like the more gritty feel overall. CP always made me feel like I had a needle in my eye. Ragna, actually, the reason Ragna was so good in this game, not only was it because of his move kit and the addition of Belial Edge, which gave him more rapid combo options and air combo options.
He still had Blood Cane in the game.
Yes, he still had Blood Cane. And he had Carnage Scissors with the stupid hitbox still, which hit above him. Hakumen also, this was the game Hakumen had his aerials changed. But it wasn't until, I think, Continuum Shift Extend, actually, that he had the, where you could hold backwards on C and it would charge. So he could charge and time his poke. They removed that in the next game, so don't worry about that. Bang, this was the last time we actually had Bang's old voice actor too. His voice actor just quit. I have no idea what happened there. From what I was told, this is by a player who played him. I'd take this with a grain of salt, but he was just, I guess, sick of Arc System or just shit, is what I was told, like, in quotations. I'm assuming he wasn't paid very well. Arachne got hard nerfed, semi-ish. He was still on the board, but he wasn't like. This is where they changed him to where his his little drive didn't instantly activate. He had to build it up for the bugs to start coming in because that was just free hitboxes if you touched them.
I see.
This was the last game that Carl had the command grab in because that got changed to a hit registry. So no mix up there. Carl also had the because he had the time bomb as his astral and CPE as well. They changed it in CF. That was a good change.
They changed his astral and CF. Yeah, I remember going through the astrals and CPE.
I'll tell you this right now. The best changes they ever made to the characters was to Carl and to Jin, and this was Carl's. For CF, the best change they did was the new astral, and for Jin, the best change that they ever did was the new low sweep.
Yeah, the low sweep.
Low sweep. It's a good opening too.
Yeah.
Because Hazama also has those. Hazama has like a shit ton of opening options actually, like from neutral position at the start of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Ragna has maybe backdash, use the foot or like Inferno Divider with the drive because that's the only one that'll reach. Hazama, his drive was still the A button in this game for the little whip, so he could do that. He could actually slide forward and do standing B. He could actually do standing C, believe it or not, from neutral at the start of a round, or he could trip you.
Standing C from neutral.
Or he could trip you. There's a lot of things he could do for neutral, and Lambda didn't really have anything that I know of.
Yeah, but
kind of slow.
In this game, he was like a neutral character, basically.
Yeah, he could also. Well, he was also the technical character. Everybody wanted to play him, and everybody did. Lambda 11 just replaced New 13. This is where the fandom for Lambda started, but not really, because it was still new. Like, well, even if you just like on the limited, they literally just gave up. They're like, yeah, let's just put new.
Yeah, it's just new. I was about to say, you just switch to unlimited mode, you can still play new. I remember seeing that.
The real reason.
Going through the games, unlimited Lambda just new.
This is where you, if you take notice, this is mostly where they started the trend of they don't want to cut characters from the game, and if they do, they're going to replace them with someone who plays the exact same, which is why Lambda is replacing new on the slot list.
Which is also why in the later games, literally no character ever leaves.
Yes.
Ever. Even if they're dead.
The only character who ever got cut from the roster list was new, and even then it was a technicality.
And Lambda and Celica both got added to CPE, which basically made that a staple.
And that's when they split their playstyle up too. I really hate that, by the way, that they split the playstyle up, because the new was actually a much more solid character. New and Lambda both, when their playstyle was just one. And they split it, and now
it made them do what they were supposed to do a lot better. Zone people.
Well, they had a better balance.
And not to mention, because they split their playstyle, Lambda got all the news up close options.
Yeah, and then New got New got all of Lambda's far away options. So it's like.
Yeah, and it was like, no, why would you do that?
They weren't really They weren't really as balanced anymore, and that placed both of them lower on the tier list. They weren't well rounded, basically, as they used to be.
In this game, they had everything that belonged to them. So it made them much more, not only more enjoyable to play, but a lot better to play.
This was the start of the trend where Tager would get buffs every game. He has not stopped getting buffed. Yeah, he got buffed this game, and then he got. I don't remember what they did for him, but they buffed him this game, then CPE.
They buffed him in CPE.
Yeah, and then they buffed him in Central Fiction, and then they buffed him again in Tag, where he could now do command grabs and command grab supers in the air.
Because I remember people complaining about Tager's buffs in CPE.
Well, the Tagers are always praying for buffs, and they're always getting them, so don't worry about it. If you really want to know more about Tager, you'd have to imply Gamnik on that one.
Yeah, I don't know much about Tager myself.
I just know if people were not playing Hazama, they were playing Tager online on the PC because it was funny. And then Lychee was a fucking threat in this game. Lychee continued to be a threat.
This was the game where she was really good, right?
Mm-hmm. She kind of fell off in Central Fiction, but...
Yeah, she only fell off in Central Fiction because in CPE she was so really good.
Well, the roster got a lot bigger, and then you could just do characters who did less for more in Central Fiction. So there's no point to play Lychee unless you really just like Lychee. But what was it? It was grand final at CPE one year. It was Lychee versus Azrael. And in this game, that was normal. In this game, Noelle was actually a threat too. Noelle was, what was it, high tier? It was high tier. Yeah, Noelle was high tier.
that where the Noel complaints came from?
Yeah, this is originally where it came from. They complained about it in other games too, but I don't know. Noel's actually just garbage in Central Fiction, and then CP, she's not as ideal as she used to be with the linear freedom of the combos.
Yeah.
Because in here she could literally just string like as much as Hakumen could. Honestly, she could full screen conversion. She could also do a lot of. She could do a lot of tech chase setups too, if I remember. She and Hakumen could do a lot of tech setups, like, oh, they're gonna roll this way.
Really long and annoying combos, and I was like, playing because you know how CP is my first game.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, she has long and annoying combos to wear. And I was like, I looked back, and I'm like, maybe it's in an older game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that's this one.
You can actually ask Hype about this one, but Tao Kaka had some crazy pressure game in this one. I don't.
Crazy pressure?
Yeah, Tao had some crazy pressure. I don't know if Tao had the loops in this game like she does in Central Fiction, though. But Tao did have some insane pressure.
I actually know absolutely nothing about Tao, so I'm gonna have to ask about that.
I'll sum it to you this way: Tao is fast. Her hitboxes actually have more. They have less startup than almost everybody else in the game, so she can beat anybody out aggressively. And she has really good movement speed. And she also has projectiles. Well, they arc, but she has projectiles, so she can catch you jumping without having to leave the ground. It's more of a speed rushdown thing, but if you really wanted to play rushdown, you'd be playing Ragna because Ragna was just better.
Ragna's the better rush character.
Yeah. He's also just easier. Mew 12 was... well, this was the only game where Mew was like rarely played, honestly. Actually, no, Mew was always rarely played, but this was the one game where Mew was scary, but not just that. Mew was hard. Mew was just hard. Yeah, she was just hard. Yeah, she got way easier over time. Even I can do it now, but like in this game, no. You're knitting a sweater trying to play her in this game. Like that's just the best way I can put it. You are the computer running through algorithms in your head on how things are going to set up and string, and that is how Mew worked in this game. Unfortunately, you still have to work a lot more than Ragna did. So.
One thing I will say about the Murakumas in this game, I like their art more because it's their base forms instead of their armored forms.
Yeah, you could still keep Ragna out though, which was where this is where most characters actually came in. It's because Ragna, as you know, normally. Even now, Ragna would have to play the waiting game, and he'd have to sit there, and he'd have to wait for your turn to end before he could even try to get in.
The waiting game, the worst game in fighting games.
I mean, the thing about the speed in not Central Fiction, in Team Shift, is extended combos. Yeah, they're cool to look at, but the game speed, they're more like a glorified cutscene at some points, and people don't like sitting through that. Tazlock. People didn't like sitting through those. Really, the only reason the game speed actually got sped up was mostly because back in the day, Guilty Gear XX was just coming out too. You remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Well, Guilty Gear's players back in that day and BlazBlue's players, just a reminder, none of these people who played the game back in this day have stuck around. They have like moved on or they just don't give a shit anymore.
Play other games.
This was like their day hobby. They did this, they started their fires, they started their shit, and they just gone. They play Persona 5 now, probably. Who knows? They probably don't even play Smash, actually. They probably, what is it, they're like a lawyer now, or desk jockey? They're probably in their... They're probably in their late 20s.
Some of them stuck around, but most of them are gone.
Yeah, they're like in their late 20s now, or something like that. I was lucky though, I was really young when I played this, so... Shit, what was I gonna say? What was I talking about before I went on to the players?
You're talking about Ragna, how you had to play the waiting game and how the combos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The reason the game was sped up in CPE, that. No phone calls. The reason the game was sped up was because back in the day, you wouldn't know it now since everyone's under like one banner now, but. Back in the day, Guilty Gear and the BlazBlue fans had like this stigma against each other, like hard. They were constantly insulting each other's games. Like
Why?
there was even artwork of like Kai insulting Jin because like he's like, oh, Jin's like, oh, look at my game, and then Kai's like, yeah, but it's so slow.
But why?
I don't know. It's not even that much slower than Guilty Gear XX, which is not even that fast to begin with. Guilty Gear never changed speeds. Then the game, and even going back from Central Fiction and Chrono Phantasma, this game's not that slow. I don't know why they did that. It was mostly just an uproar from that, and that's how we ended up with Chrono Phantasma speed. And how the game just completely changed from what BlazBlue actually was. Because they were listening to people, and people just bitched about it because they hated each other. Keep in mind, none of these people are around now. These people who started this, the ones that you can thank for this, they're not around anymore. They're gone.
And BlazBlue is now just split up for no reason.
Yes. They're gone. Guilty Gear benefited from this, though, slightly, because those players, I think, are still somewhat around, because they still play Accent Core and shit, but...
Well, that's because up until Strive, Guilty Gear was like a super dedicated series.
Yeah. It wasn't like a mainstream thing, and then BlazBlue kind of helped that. Because BlazBlue became the more popular one, mainstream-wise, and then... I remember I was sitting around here on my hands and knees like, oh, one day I hope this game is mainstream and people play it and a whole bunch of other people enjoy it and da-da-da-da-da. And now I'm sitting here, I'm like, please take it back. Take it back. I don't want this. I don't want this. They're ruining the game. I don't want it. Pull me back. I'm unfinished. Pull me back. I'm unfinished. This is one of the games where people played Valkenheim, because if you notice nowadays, no one fucking plays them. You know, so, what was it? Fatals in this game were deadly, too. Normally, they wall bounced. They either wall bounced or they, like, super stunned. Especially Valkenheim. Valkenheim had a bunch of fatal counters where he would wall bounce and he'd convert off of that. This is the first game Makoto was in, and half of her lines are memes. As with Hazma. What? She yelled, "Spoon! Spoon!"
Oh, that's where the spoon thing came from?
Yeah, then one of her jump noises was just her, like, going like, "Ugh!" Serious. Every single one of these lines is memeable. Watch, I'll go to the menu and show you.
So that's where the Makoto memes came from. Because I know the spoon thing was an actual meme.
This is where all of Hazuma's memes came from.
Yeah, I know, but Hazuma became like the meme character, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they literally make a Michael Jackson parody out of him because of that pose he has?
Yes, way back here in this time.
And I think that's where the color in CPU came from too.
It was.
Right?
Yeah, his design was based off of Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, most of Makoto's lines actually were fourth wall breaks. Like she'd be like, "Oh, press start to continue." You suck. Okay, thanks. Well, they changed that in the next game.
Oh, they shouldn't take that out.
See, let me see if I can find the lines.
Wow.
Oh yeah, guard primers. I actually like these, but a lot of people didn't. But I liked them mostly because it incentivizes you not to turtle. Because you did not have a dedicated guard crush option, which makes more sense in higher level play. But in this one, if you turtle too long, they're gonna out pressure you, and your barrier is gonna go bye bye.
So it's basically the negative.
Yeah, it was a negative thing. So basically, you couldn't turtle, and you had to counter pressure at some point in the game, unless you wanted to just not have a barrier.
Oh.
Which was easier to do than it was to time one of those fuckers. I'm trying to find the line. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, the rush. Thank you for that one.
Okay.
Oh, that's her death noise.
Oh my god.
Okay, so we're in lines 100. Okay.
You want to fondle my tail too?
No.
You can do better than that. Is this a dream? No, this can't be.
It's one of
Is
these.
this a dream?
Press
That's
start
the
to
hospital
continue.
line.
Yeah, here we go. 98.
Press start to continue. You want to go on? No way! Next to you!
Can't believe she has the hospital line. That actually hit me more than the press start to continue.
Power of youth.
The power. Wait, that's a reference to Naruto. My guy.
Trying to find the spoon line.
Dude, is this literally just an anime reference character? Is that all this is?
Well, yeah, basically. She can tell she had a lot of fun with these. Oh.
I have a lot of fun with a meme character too. That's why I want to voice Sonic the Hedgehog.
Anyway, in this game, this is back in the day when we had the little mini games. This is where the mini games actually started. In Continuum Shift 2, we had the
mini games.
Yes, it was more than just beating people up. Could you believe it? It was more than beating people up, Abyss, and fucking Versus and Arcade. It was more than that. More than a story.
Abyss went by, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. No, in this game and the next game we had Abyss was in Central Fiction.
It was?
Yeah, we had Unlimited Mars.
I don't remember.
We don't have Unlimited Mars in Central Fiction because there's no Unlimited.
Yeah.
We did have Score Attack, sort of. It was more of a time mode in Central Fiction.
There's no Unlimited if you don't keep the game.
Continuum Shift 2 actually had my favorite minigame, which was... What was it called? It was...
CPE, I didn't even do Unlimited Mars. I just walk up
It had... Fuck. Oh, I gotta pull out the 3DS. Give me a second. Legion mode! Legion mode! It was Legion mode. Basically, you would go around, you would beat the hell out of everybody, and then you would take them as your own fighter. They would even have different abilities, and they're like a gimmick added onto the character. And then they would also have their own custom colors that you wouldn't change. So it was literally like recruiting NPCs across a web. And then whenever one of them died, you'd place another one. And you'd just work together to take down the boss team. It was basically tag, if tag didn't suck. And you didn't have an assist partner.
Most of the extra modes in Daze I actually didn't play. I didn't play Unlimited Mars in CPE, and I didn't play Abyss mode in it. Actually, I played it in CPE for until I got to stage 6, and then I got tired of it.
A lot of these were just harder. Like not all of them were just like, go have fun. Like Legion mode was my favorite.
I didn't know Legion mode was a thing.
There's also official team, which if I go into network mode, I need to get you this game for Steam.
No, I'm not gonna play it.
Fuck. Well, that would have helped my point here, but you go to player match, you go to create room, and let me put this on private actually.
Oh wait, there's legitimate online team mode.
Yeah, there's a legitimate online team mode like in Chrono has, but this one was actually different. You can also just go into training while you're in here. I don't want to disband the room. If you go up here and you move the arrow key, you can do teams this way where it's everyone faces one opponent and whichever side has the most wins at the end of it. Like, if player 1 beat player 2, well, neither of them are fighting in the next round. It's just player 3 versus player 4 regardless. But if blue has 2 of their players won and one of player 1's won, and one of red team won, and blue team wins. I did that a few times. And then we had the classic one that was added into CPE, which was one person from team red would fight everybody in team blue, and until they fell, the next player wouldn't play.
I like the other one better.
But the one where it's just one person versus the other person? Yeah, that was my favorite too. I don't know why they took that out. Because the other one just leads to a lot more stalemates that doesn't need to exist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it is more skill-based, but it's not much of a competition that way.
Well, it doesn't feel like a team if it's just one person sitting there
It's like how long can one person pub stomp until someone stops them, basically.
Yeah, that's not really much of a team. It's more of an. That's more of in some games, you know how they have an endless mode, basically where you fight one person until they lose, and then the next person who beat them is the person you have to fight.
Yeah.
That's what that is. That's not really a team mode. It's more of an endless mode.
Basically. This is actually the last game where we had the gallery where you could listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah, I don't know why they took that out. That was actually a really good feature.
Not only that, you could also listen to all the lines individually. Without having to rip them out. Why are these? Why are the Japanese lines quieter than the English lines?
They know you're not playing Japanese.
Let's go for story.
Ruthless in this game. Jesus Christ.
What, Ragnar's attitude?
Yeah, he's
I mean,
ruthless.
he was angry. He was an angry short man in this game. Everybody kept giving him shit. He wasn't over himself yet. He's also manhunting Hazem at the time. Let's go over this. Now, we're not going to go over the Calamity Trigger part.
Every game, but this game was... Oh my god.
We're not going to go over Calamity Trigger because that was in every other fucking
Why
game.
is the story mode
That wasn't added into later either.
selected better than every other story mode select? I can actually just choose which character as story mode I want to do.
You still had to do different characters to unlock Hazema's and then to unlock the true ending.
Why?
Because you had to get the side from everybody's story. You couldn't just do Ragna and then go straight to Hazema.
They did Sonic Adventure in this game.
It was the same thing in Chrono Phantasm, not Chrono Phantasm, Calamity Trigger. But the writing was...
I feel like this is better because it's not just, oh, in order to progress, you have to do all of this.
The writing had more freedom this way, though, too. Because they weren't, like, restricted to, like, plot points as much. I mean, they were, but, like...
I want to be able to play as the character and do this story.
You can also write off a bunch of... Like, you had more choices in this, and you also could write off a bunch of other shit, like, oh, yeah, this is bad ending. Sure, we'll just write it anyway, though. It wasn't like, oh, no, like, you had a bunch of what-if situations that actually happened. Like, oh, what if...
That more?
Like, what if Tager didn't encounter Lightyear? What if Tager fucking murdered Arachne? Now you know.
Plus, it actually matters in this game.
You have, like, even bad endings for Ragnar, like, oh, what if Ragnar lost to Rachel? What if he won? What if his Azure Grimoire went out of control? What if Hakumen had to fight him again? You get all that.
The only real choice you had in, like, CPE was, during the first Jin fight in the story. If you beat Jin, like, if you got his health to, like, low percent before you got yours to low percent, that was it.
You don't get choices in any of the other games after this.
Because, canonically, Jin is supposed to win that fight. And that's why they made his AI, like, super hard for that win.
And of course, you had Tsubaki's. This is where the writing was on the wall with Tsubaki. Well, if you want to count getting your ass kicked by everybody.
Alright, so Tsubaki's a character. Gotcha.
If I want to sum up these stories, Ragnar's basically...
I know Tsubaki's story, I know Noel's story, and I know Jin's story.
Ragnar's basically follows the main plot. Rachel essentially follows what the hell she was doing the entire time. Which, you know, was warp from point A to point B and meddle with everybody else. That she fucking gave it.
That's why everybody hated her.
Yeah, it can go from... Like, cause like, you know, one minute she's with Ragnar and the next minute she's gone in Ragnar's story. And you have no idea where the hell she went. Well, if you're playing her story, well, now you know where she went. She went to Hakumen. And then she starts fucking with Hakumen. Yeah, and then you have Jin's where you find out, oh yeah, Jin's just gonna fucking jump from a hovering ship above a city. Yeah, he jumps a lot.
Yeah, he's the cool guy.
Well, he was injured too when he did this.
He's still the cool guy.
Was he even here? You actually get a little bit more of Jin than you do in the other games, just because even if he is alone, he interacts with more just NPCs in this game. Like, was it within the, you know, like even the very beginning, as a good example. I'll just show you it. Oops. I'll just show you it. Decision. We got to skip through a lot of backstory stuff because they had to. This is the game where they decided to give people their backstories. This is also the last. Yeah, this right here. This is also the last game where they did the they described the scenes and the characters' thoughts because you were just watching it afterwards instead of like from this point of view.
So it was more VN.
Mm-hmm. They actually kept that for Persona 4 Arena. I don't know why they didn't keep it for Blaze Blue.
Persona 4 Arena.
Although, oh, that's I guess because the story was split too.
Yeah, it was, and it was also Persona 4 Arena was going off of the game as if these events were like canon. I don't know if they actually are canon to Persona 4.
They are.
Yeah, I was about to say I think Adachi's is, so it should be. But since they were going off of that, it made more sense to have the more VN approach. But for Blaze Blue, since not only did it become mainstream kind of after CF, but after CF, kind of at the end of its lifespan. But in CP and CPE, when it became less VN-ish, it was more so because the game felt more anime.
It was more linear too. It was focused on the plot points instead of just the characters.
And you know how in anime,
and you'll notice it.
Thoughts and actual present, they put them in parentheses and they're like, "Whoa, this happened."
Well,
like an echo like that.
You'll notice it too, though. But like especially in the later games, it's more noticeable. But a lot of characters who just weren't relevant just got shafted because there was just no point. They would show up maybe once or twice for the fans, but that was like it.
Like Bullet.
Yeah, and like Lychee and some of the other ones in CPE and CF were kind of just forced in more than anything. Like they didn't really need to be there. They didn't really need to be there, and it showed. And then most of them, even Tsubaki was.
Lychee and CF was literally just reliving events that had already happened. Just like every other character who really didn't need to be there at that point.
I mean, the throwaway characters were even used just as meat shields for the ending, just so that the bad guy could get away as well.
Yeah, so I mean,
they were more relevant in the first two games.
Interaction points in CF as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't as big in CPE at least because characters who didn't need to actually be a part of the plot only showed up about once or twice.
Yeah, or you could just play as them and you see what they're doing. I mean, they lived here, so they were more relevant than anything else.
Yeah, but in CF it got really, really bad.
Yeah, especially when they looped the damn story again. I mean, you could tell, like, it was more like a forced... It was more of a forced thing with CF, especially, because, like, there was no point to have the entirety of Kagutsuchi in the embryo, and then here's the Karaga. Like, there's no reason to do that other than the fact that you were going to revisit certain places for some weird lore purpose. Than to just have, like, the world. Anyway, if you watch this scene...
I'm sorry, Major. I'm from the 3rd Thaumaturgist Squad, Warrant Officer Ellen Nelson. This is the medical bay of an NOL Ars Magnus vessel.
The medical bay? Warrant officer. What's today's date?
Yes, it's January 3rd, sir.
I've been asleep for 3 days?
Your injuries appear to be quite serious, so you were brought here for treatment.
Warrant Officer Nelson, was it? Who brought me here?
I'm afraid I do not know the answer to that question, sir. I was just assigned to this post yesterday. My orders, however, were made perfectly clear. I am to take care of you until your injuries have healed completely.
And who gave you these orders?
I was given my orders by Captain Hazama, sir.
Captain Hazama? Nelson, I'm sorry, but I'm not feeling too well. Could you please leave?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's a great honor to be able to take care of you like this, sir. If you need anything at all, please feel free to call me. Now, if you'll excuse me...
An Ars Magnus vessel?
Wow, another NOL officer.
You get to see him interact with...
This must be one of the NOL ships configured for defense.
You already get a lot of this with Jin, like, talking to himself and then, you know, explaining everything better than most other people could, but... Because, you know, he's quick on the draw, but you get to hear him speak to, like, non-essential characters, and how he handles that here. You don't really get any of that in the other games. Because he only interacts with, like, main characters.
Characters barely show up in the other games, and they usually die.
Yeah, and you'll see how he handles them here, too. Look, watch in a second.
Did you call me, Major?
I'm a little thirsty. Please bring me a glass of water.
Understood. I will return right away.
what her clearance level is. Level 8. I should have known. I was hoping I could commandeer an escape pod, but I guess I'll have to settle for the next best thing.
If you notice, he doesn't kill her, but he does knock her out.
Involved, yet there are hardly any guards. Is this a trap? Circling directly above Kagutsuchi? Why aren't we heading back to HQ?
You notice how he already thought about it being a trap? Well, he knows now.
To be a trap. No matter. Trap or not, I will allow nothing to deter me from finding my brother.
And this is where you get like the first choice as well. One is like, I think one's the gag reel or one's the bad ending. I don't remember though. I actually don't remember which one's the right one.
So they had the gag reel choice in this game as well.
Yeah. Oh shit, I may have...
I know in CPE, if you chose the bottom choice most of the time, it was gag reel.
I chose the gag reel. Oops.
Oh, this is the Ragna Island, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Oops. I didn't mean to. Anyway, you get the point. If I chose the other option, you would have seen Hazuma monologuing about Jin just jumping. Like, oh, and there he goes, huh? So, you know, Hazuma was secretly goading everyone to one location. And you have to remember, Takamagahara still existed too. This is also where Teach Me Much Light came around. Although, well, no, because it was in CT, but it was a lot harder to get to, from what I know. Because you can unlock the older ones in here
Get
too.
it for free in Chrono Phantasma.
I know, but you unlock the older ones in this one. I don't remember how you access them though.
All you have to do is listen to Lychee, and you get all of this stuff for free.
This is a very, very informal documentary, but still. You also had this is where the illustration from the guests. Oh no, it started in CT, but it caught on more here. Like you'll notice there's a lot of popular artworks that you've probably seen before, like this one.
Yeah.
Where's another one that's popular? This one.
The Cosmo one is especially popular. I see it everywhere.
And there's also these. I really like these. And then like the little artists, they got to put stuff on the other thing, like they like what they were doing. But some of them be like, "Oh, I'm not very good," or like, "Oh, blah 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 blah." And this is the illustration. This is part of the illustration team. This guy right here. This is one of the thrown away illustrations. And if you read the bottom, he tells him the theme was Mu confronting Hakumen. He really liked the way Mu reflected in the sword though, so he had to reuse it, make it into his own artwork. Instead of just completely throwing it away. So that's basically, that's the closest you're going to get to seeing cut story artwork. Like story CGs, because like, let me go back up, like, stuff like this, and this, and this doesn't just happen. They go through like different, even though they reuse them a lot, they go through a bunch of different ideas of what they want to do. Like this may have not even been this, like it could have been Carl on the ground and it was looking from behind, from Hazuma. Different angles, different ideas. You actually can see a lot more of Mori's influence on these than you used to. I mean, than you are now. This one. Oh yeah, this is where that kind of caught on.
The freaking Taker.
Oh yeah, this is one that everybody's seen. The Atlas artwork.
Yeah, the Persona Noel.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget to check out Persona 4 The Ultimate Midnight Arena when it comes out.
Original name of it.
It hadn't even come out yet by the time this game was out. It came out, it was in development alongside Continuum Shift, basically, so. Or alongside Chrono Phantasma. Because, you know, this obviously came out first. These are popular artworks too. This is where, because remember, if you remember the first game, Calamity Trigger had the what was the anime? What was the anime they had? They had a certain anime studio handle the cutscenes, and this is where they had to start outsourcing different people because they didn't get that again. So of course they had.
It wasn't Trigger, right?
No, it wasn't Trigger. Trigger was later.
Oh.
Of course they had the Sunday morning cartoon animation style, which was a lot of Continuum Shift. The infamous machine. You can tell the difference though, because you have that, and then you have Calamity Trigger cutscenes. Completely different art style. This actually fits a little bit more, actually. I won't lie. Different art styles. Oh yeah, and then you can tell when this was made alongside Chrono Phantasma, because this was a. Actually, first off, let me go back into this again. You know how I told you this is Extend and the games were different?
Yeah.
Well, not only did they have different intros, like you can see here, with Shinshu. The song that a lot of people talk about, Pandora Tears. You know how it plays here? Well, the reason it plays here, the reason the art style in this cutscene is also different than the other ones, is this is one of the few scenes from the first game. And Pandora Tears was the original theme of Continuum Shift. Which they played against, they would play it when you fought Mu, actually. They changed it to Shinshu. I think they changed it to Shinshu, I don't remember. They changed it in CS2, and they changed the placement around, so Hazama got one too, that wasn't just Nightmare Fiction. And then in then in Continuum Shift Extend, they changed this to, they changed this to they changed this to the CPE, not CPE, the CSE theme, and then they changed versus Hazama to Shinshu. If I remember correctly, I might not be. But they changed the themes around every game. And when the Calamity Trigger reconstruction. Oh no, that's just still images, never mind. That's not an actual cutscene like it used to be. This is where you could tell the development of CPE overlaps with the Extend.
Yeah.
This is the CF cutscene style.
That's the Federation's hierarchical city, Icardia.
What are the new additions to Extend? This is actually the reason that they went back to the studio for Central Fiction, if I remember correctly. Of course, you had all your unlimited characters. Your bike characters in the lobby with your references like. I guess that's not Michael Jackson. That's what's his name? That's what's his name from Guilty Gear.
I know that character.
You have Luca for Tsubaki. Yeah, some of these are Guilty Gear colors, like the Hakumen one here.
Yeah.
Guilty Gear XX, because this is like I told you that BlazBlue and Guilty Gear fans had a riot with each other every second they got, and you had the Gintama skin. Yeah, they did.
There's always the anime reference skin, the Guilty Gear skin.
They did not like each other in this day and age. We have this. This is normally you can see this in books now. The motion storyboards. Like you get it for free with the special edition for CF tag. And this is what when people talked about how they already have models for all these characters. Yeah, they're not lying. All the sprites are modeled off of a 3D model, and then they're adjusted afterwards. Like this is News 3D. Yeah, look.
That's where the new Smash model came from.
No, this is different, but this is new. This is New 13's model. And look, it says New 13, but they turned the lambda. But you get the point.
Yeah.
Hazama. That's actually pretty good detail on the model, believe it or not.
So they do have a Rockman Smash model. They just haven't given it to Nintendo yet.
See, they start off as a sketch on what they want, or a rough sketch like in Hazama's case, and Tsubaki's, because these are new characters. And then they do the model, and then they do the sprite. Look, they even turned the Ezio's eye completely on its side. Look at that. It's facing up and down in the sketch, and it's facing sideways on the sprite. Valkenheim.
Those models actually don't look that bad.
They don't. It's just Well, I don't know what they would look like with textures and shaders, so it could be a completely different story. You have Makoto's. She's not smiling in the rough sketch, and she's smiling in the sprite. I guess you can't tell on the model if she's smiling or not.
No, you can't.
You have Platinum. Platinum actually looks younger in the sketch than she does in the sprite. Her face is also facing more towards the right than it is. Yeah, the model. I don't know if the model on Platinum would actually look that good if it wasn't done with Guilty Gear XX.
It depends on
in Xrd.
It depends on what shaders they use. Because I know the coloring would be virtually the same as it is in the sprite.
Yeah, Relius Clover. Actually, this is a finished sketch of Relius Clover. Actually, this isn't even a rough sketch. It looks almost exactly like the sprite, just 2D.
Yep.
Except you can tell where the shading from the model comes because look the shoes. Like the gold has more on the front right there, and it also has the shine, and that's not on the finished draft here. On the finished draft, you only had the cape, and even then that was changed. Both the interior and exterior. Special illustrations. These are illustrations that were from box arts, or from crossovers. And things like this is the official comic, Dark War. And that was when Dark War was still a book. You had some promotional stuff like I remember these. These were from. This is Continuous Extend. Are you sure this is Extend? Because this was on the. I don't know. Maybe the 3DS version came afterwards, but this was on the box arts for. This is Yuki Kato, by the way. This was
Yeah, that Mu art is everywhere.
These were used a lot with Continuum Shift 2 as well. Yeah, see, Continuum Shift 2. Shift 2, because you can definitely tell the difference too, because if you look at Continuum Shift 1 box art, you have to Google it, but if you look at it, it's very different. And he had like these little cards that you get little collectibles. This is by Dazuki. You can obviously tell this one because you know he draws like this. This is that's not Mori. This is Mori. This is CEF and Continuum Shift's artwork. I haven't told people that yet, have I? That the Continuum Shift artwork illustrator for the Select Art is the guy who did Essential Fictions. He and Mori just alternated between the two games. This is also him. That's also him. Which one of these is Mori? Yeah, this is Kato Yuki. Yuki Kato.
Yeah, the iconic Ragna and Hosman picture.
This is the Guide to the World of Blaze Blue Continuum Shift Front. SoftBank Creative. Interbrain. Telephone card series. I think most of those were just drawn by Yuki, actually. Gene books. Yeah, this is Dark War. This was Dark War 1. Was this Dark War 2? No, this was Phase 0. This is the Extend package. This one you see everywhere.
Yeah, that one is everywhere.
This is the arcade for 2. You actually see this art? No, not this one. Where's the one? Because there's one where he's doing like Inferno Divider. There's a magazine cover. I can't find it. There's an artwork where he's doing like Inferno Divider. This is one that everybody sees everywhere though. The Ragna, especially the Ragna. Because that was the box art for the collector's edition for 2 at some point, I think, as well. It's enough looking through the gallery, though. Replay Theater. This, like Calamity Trigger, supported replays. Unfortunately, on PC, we don't have the full functionality, but you could go into the leaderboard on the Xbox and PlayStation. You could just download things. Like if your friend was fighting someone, you could
just like in Fighters and Guilty Gear.
Yeah, but it was way easier to go find.
They had the channel thing.
It was
the replay channel.
It was actually bound to the leaderboard though, so you could go look at top players, top scoreboard players, individual players, people ranked at the bottom, ranked at the top, your friends, their friends. If you notice there, Rachel had a different line. That was Noelle's voice actor voicing her. I don't remember what was in development. That's loud. I don't remember what was in development during this game, but I do remember that most of the voice actors were actually busy when they needed new lines for Continuum Shift. so not everybody could make it, and then Hazuma's especially had retired. So like, if I go in the verses, they had to make up a new intro for. Hello, there we go. They had to make up a new intro for Relius because Relius was a new character, and they needed a new intro. He had generic ones, everybody else, but he'd already retired at this point, and they had just gotten done recasting Hazuma for the Calamity Trigger and for CPE. So of course, who's gonna come out of this one. You have like the one. What's his name? What was his name? Because Eric Davies. What was it? What's Hazuma's new actor named again?
His current actor?
Yeah.
Let me look it up.
I actually completely forgot. Doug Airholtz. This was Doug's. This is the first time anyone actually heard Doug. I mean, he'd already been cast, but this is the first time you heard him. And yeah, he had already been cast, and he had this. He had this and a few Roundwind lines, but the rest of the lines were still Eric Davies.
Like, there's this one video that just goes through all his VAC.
Because, yeah, he had the tech line too against Colonel. Hazuma's VA for this game had worked on the Final Fantasy series.
Yeah.
I don't remember who he voiced though. Anyway, there's that. That's the reason for that one. A lot of stuff was in development at that time. A lot of people were busy. Even the great Noelle Vermillion voice actress. Yeah. Damn it, I forgot her name too. How am I forgetting these voice actors? Yeah, this team's getting archived. This is gonna be hard, this timestamp, because I'm just muttering a lot of the time because I didn't write down these things. So this is a very, 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 very informal. Archive. Not Kanako Kondo, that's not who I'm looking for. Christina Valuenza, yeah, Christina.
Yeah,
she was very.
I was about to say, I just looked it up.
She was very busy this
Laura
day.
Bailey, with her two voice actors.
You continue shift? Oh, that was Laura Bailey. That was not Rachel's voice actor then.
Yeah.
No, that Rachel got.
Rachel?
No, hold on. Rachel got her because she was. Fuck. Let me just. Because Rachel and Valkenheim, because Valkenheim was DLC, and Rachel had Christina voice her. Rachel had. The schedule was so weird because when these DLCs came out, Rachel got Christina to do her best Rachel impression for the one intro line with Valkenheim. And then she was too busy to record for Noelle herself, though. So we had, I'm assuming what you just said was Laura Bailey against Makoto, and you're gonna hear that. But I was told it was Mela Lee.
And then in the later games, Christina V obviously voiced all of America members.
Because I was told it was Mela Lee who voiced this, but you're gonna hear it. That did not sound like Noah.
It doesn't. You would clear hear the difference.
You can clearly hear the difference, but like the line, I don't know. Does the line sound like Noah? I mean, I guess it does.
Because
it's
because it's Noelle, I can imagine her saying something like that, but it's just the voice.
It's not. It didn't sound natural because it wasn't Christina.
Yeah, just the voice.
But yeah, but he wasn't. Actually, you do get different lines with Hakumen. Just interesting. I think you do. Let me go look. Let me go look this up because they did keep Hakumen's voice actor. What's his face? What's his name? Jin's voice, because Hakumen and Jin had the same voice actor. He was able to come back, but they did. This is the part because remember how Reiner really likes the CPE Hakumen dub. Yeah, they changed that. So
But I really like the CPE. To me, that's the best Hawkman.
they changed the voice filter like every media. Like they even changed it
Yeah,
with the anime and then I see F for
then
tag.
of course, they changed it for tag and made it worse because it's literally just Jin.
Your
Um,
fans have not aged well.
in CPE, to me, that was the best
The
Hawkman.
intruder comes forward.
Does he not have? He does not have a line versus.
He sounds really raspy in this game.
He doesn't actually have a line against.
He also sounds a lot more aggressive.
He
That's just
does.
like a trend with with the just being the characters being more aggressive when they
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. Because if you can,
Because
you
I know Hazama when he's in the last scenes of the story, he also sounds very aggressive and talking around.
because they did change the voice direction for the later games. If you notice, like Rachel doesn't sound. Hold on. Especially, actually, it's really
Yeah,
noticeable
so
it's very
in this
noticeable
game
in
sounded a
Noel.
lot more harsh, I guess you would call it. So is that literally just a trend?
Yeah,
Them being more aggressive?
they're aggressive like this and in the game beforehand. This is mostly Gee's line. This is not Rachel. But if you play through this story and then you play through CPE and then you play through Tag, you will essentially notice the stark difference in the direction that they've been giving them. Because I don't even actually I can just showcase it. Like go whatever any of you do, go boot up Tag or boot up CPE right now and go listen to Ragnar and story and then listen to him here, which is about to happen. You're gonna tell the difference like immediately.
Let me see which one I have. I think I have Tag installed and not CPE. CPE would have been the better one.
Listening to Ragnar's inner thoughts also helps a lot.
Plan on hanging around. What did you say your name was? Noel?
Oh wait, I can just look it up
I'm sorry.
after I listen to it.
Yeah, Noel's voice direction actually got changed a lot, actually.
What's with the apology? You didn't do anything.
At least the delivery was changed a little bit. There's also just, given with time.
You don't have anything else to do here, right? You being here is really starting to get on my nerves. Now what?
No, it's nothing. I just thought we could talk for a while.
Why would I waste my breath?
Why do you have to talk that way?
Just go away.
Okay. Ragnar the Blood Edge, I will go this time. But when we meet each other again, it will be as enemies.
You do realize she never had that much courage outside of this game. Outside of this game and the previous game, they got rid of that.
This is
Jeez. Don't ever come back. Damn it. Why does everyone want to butt into my
interesting.
business? It's really starting to get on my goddamn nerves. What I do
I'm not used to
is
hearing
their
Noel
business.
like that, and I'm not used to hearing Ragnar's voices.
I know, it's like so different.
It be because of this right hand of mine. But what the hell do I know? My right hand, the Azure Grimoire. It's gotta be.
Yeah, Azure Grimoire and Blaze Blue are two interchangeable terms. If anyone ever asks you that,
The true successor to the Azure.
Rachel's is definitely different too.
Pathetic imitation
Yeah,
human.
you can hear the difference in Rachel just like you can in Noel.
Imitation, huh?
I don't have the other games on me right now to play side by side, but
I regret to say that the phenomenon has shifted.
if any of you have YouTube on your phone or your computer, you can put this on one of them and put the other game on a different one, and you will be able to tell the difference. God, his voice inflection is so good. He also did the laughs really goddamn good. Sounds
Yeah,
natural.
the laughs were really good.
He made him sound natural.
Stronger. Damn. It's exactly like it was the last time. Absolutely nothing has changed.
And Ragnar's a lot more. I don't know how do you put it? Is it more gruff, aggressive?
Yeah, it's
Hey,
more
stalker
gruff.
guy. How long do you plan on staring at me?
And his voice got a lot younger sounding and just exclamatory and like Not a lot younger, maybe a little bit younger, but more exclamatory and like tag. You just don't even get to hear Carl again. You hear him in CPE, and that's it.
Oh yeah, I remember this. You're able to sense my presence. I'm impressed.
However, Mr. Ragnar the Blood Edge, I do.
Last warning, kid.
Do you really think that mere words would deter me?
No, but it was worth a shot.
He never does that ever again either, that type of voice.
Hmm.
After this game, he doesn't ever lower it like that. At least not in the dub. Ooh. I don't want to get hit by that. No. Ow. Alright, let's style. Oops, not what I wanted to do. That was a long hitbox. Woo, woo. I didn't have meter for rapid. I didn't mean to waste my rapid either. Read. That's not gonna help me. No, no, I typed out. I can't see. I can't see. I cannot see. I actually cannot see. It's shifted my monitor to the monitor too. I can't see. Hold on. How to change.
Oh, I believe we've won, sis.
No. Windows Shift left arrow. Windows Shift
This is the big freeze.
arrow. I can't see. Windows Shift left arrow. Left arrow. I can't. Okay, it's critical. There we go. I moved over 2 monitors. Holy shit.
What? Is something the matter? Did I do something wrong? Oh well, it can't be helped.
Carl fucking cheated. Carl fucking cheated. Carl fucking cheated.
I'm truly sorry,
It's
Mr.
freaking
Ragnar
great,
the
dude.
Blood Edge, but I really
I never heard the Carl Wynn dialogue for that.
No! No! He fucking killed me!
Oh, Ragna's dead. That's the
Ragnar fucking died. Carl goddamn cheated. No!
Oh, Ragna's dead. It's over.
There we go. That was a combo right there. I didn't mean to do that though. Or I didn't mean to drop it actually. I meant to do the follow-up.
You can't just not die.
Ow! What? He hit me faster than I could grab him. Yeah! I didn't mean to wrap it that high up. Ow. You see what I mean by you can convert off fucking anything? You see a Carl convert off that fucking ball? That ball that was like really fucking late? I'm gonna grab him.
You can't say I didn't warn you. I told you.
Brother. I think we have covered most anything. The thing to cover right now probably is mostly just the community at this point.
But we all know about the community.
Yeah, they fucking left. My favorite part though is that the stupidity is not changed. If you go look at this on like the forums and you go look at the other ones, there was a time people were speculating about how Release would play. Start of when people wanted to play as Jubei. You got your wish. Did you enjoy it? It's questionable.
Young Ragnar. Let's play as young Ragnar. Let's make that the next DLC character.
It's not. Young Ragnar. Young Thug Ragnar. It just plays like Naruto.
It's literally Naruto.
This is Naruto without the blood. It's just Dark Essence now. I mean, you could genuinely just do that.
Naruto, where he pulls out a sword for his astral and that's it.
Oh yeah, because Ragnar didn't have a Aramasa. It wasn't called that at this point. It was just called Giant Sword.
The big ass sword.
I think they covered it like once in Calamity Trigger and then once here in like the extra material. And they never covered it again. Not until the series was finished. Thank you for playing Blaze Blue Continuum Shift Extend on Steam. Oh yeah, they would show messages there on the bottom like, oh, Continuum Shift 2 is available for purchase. Continuum Shift Extend is available for purchase. Buy the DLC for Makoto.
Back when Makoto was a DLC.
On tournament blah 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 is happening. Those are actually really rare to find now. They only really had Continuum Shift tournaments in Japan. Because it was not that big over here. It was still niche. Anyway, well, with how time has changed and how Blaze Blue has become mainstream, you know how people are like, they're a lot nicer to each other now than they used to be. It's like, oh yeah, you can do it, blah 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 blah, or no, it doesn't matter, and blah blah. No, back in this day, it was eat or be eaten. You sucked ass, good luck. People would just tell you that you fucking sucked. If you sucked ass, people were on you. They're like, huh, they're so weak. This is the Call of Duty era. Okay, so
Not being bad at the game.
this was the Call of Duty era. So
Stop being bad.
mix that with the people who liked anime, but anime was not hip at the time, and you get Blaze Blue players. Not very pretty. Very, very not pretty image.
Stop being bad at the game era was pretty bad.
It was. It ended somewhere during a CPE and CS transition, but actually no, it ended with CF, didn't it? That went on for a while. Shit.
For years.
Look at all this extra mode. All this extra mode, because they did cut games. They didn't keep all the extra modes in all these. Yeah, oh, new unlimited Mars mode. Oh, that's new. The Continuum Shift Extend. Oh, Blaze Blue Continuum Shift Extend makes a grand return with the what does this say? What is it with the devious? Oh, yeah, it makes a grand return with the devious all-new playable character Release Clover, new story scenarios, new gameplay modes, and competitively balanced action. That's on the box. That's advertised on the box. They didn't fucking do that with CF anymore. They don't care. It's on the fucking box. Online multiplayer 2 to 6. It supports arcade stick. Thank you for telling me this. Voice leaderboards. Game content download. Local players 1 to 2. 4 megabytes. You need 4 megabytes to have a save file. That's not bad. HDTV 720p 1080i 1080p. When did the Xbox support 1080p natively? I don't think that ever happened, did it? 360? Did the 360 ever support 1080p native? I thought it was always 1080i.
No, it wasn't 1080p.
That's good to know. Arc Sys Games, back when Arc System was the publisher. If you go look at the promotional material for CT and then this, you will weep because it puts CF and CS to shame. There's a lot of heart and soul in that. They also gave you, arcade sticks for each game. There's a lot more heart in the to get Calamity Trigger off the ground than there was for this game, though. Especially in the digital Xbox. Directional pad. Move cursor. There was no cursor in this game. Yeah, ranked match. Friend match. Join a friend in a match after receiving an invitation from them. D-code. Oh yeah, for those of you who do not know what D-code means, that means drive code.
I know what it means because I'm smart.
They never explained it out. They actually only explain it in Calamity Trigger, and then they never explained it again. You can select your region. Do you want to filter opponents by region, or do you want to fight fucking Japan while you're in America? I mean, you can, but this is like before netcode even was good for anything.
We'll fight Japan.
Restrict players to PSR. Yeah, you could rank them with their skill rating. Which, by the way, let me show that off. Let me show that off. That was different than it is now. That was very, very different. Actually, it was lore friendly too, which is even interesting. Go to lore ranking. Yeah, fuck all these people. I don't like any of these people, so we're gonna go down to the bottom. I know most of these people who are at the top. Let me see here. Level 29. No. PSR 6. Where's the fucking... Where's his rank? Doesn't show his rank. No. No, you dipshit. Yeah, Airless Pigeon. Let's go look at Airless Pigeon. That sounds like a nice family-friendly person.
Oh, it doesn't.
Played 89. How is he 16 on the fucking rankings? Oh, this is accumulated victory. I don't care about victory. Yeah, PSR. PSR 6. That's not what I'm looking for. I want to view the fucking ranking. Where is it? Where's me? Where am I at? I know I'm on here. God, I hate most of these people. God, most of these are giving me bad memories. I'm not gonna lie. Vice President Pitts. That's funny. That dates the game. So that's Tsubaki. You must say, wait a minute. Order Soul. Here's Order Soul, the guy who made the tier list post. I'm to play. Where am I at? Actually, I might not even be ranked anymore. No. Tell me the keyboard binding for this. There's my own ranking. Is it shift? It is shift. I am 2,531. Why does it say my most played character is Lychee? That is a lie. Why does it say it's Lychee? No, never mind. I played Rachel more. Why did it start me on Lychee? Noelle 93, Jin 344, win ratio 33%. I've only played one ranked match. I have 5 PSR. I played 3. No, I played 3 ranked match. I played 1 ranked match with Ragna, and I've played him 724 times in a lifetime at this game online. Jesus Christ. I have a win ratio of 100% with Ragna. Cool. Although I've only had the 1 match. PSR 6. Yeah, there we go. Risk rating. You see that right there? F3. You know how in Teach Me Miss Lychee she goes over, oh, the NOL has rankings for the villains, I mean the bounties that they put on people, and that goes from like, was Ragna SS class? Yeah, and it just goes up, basically. It's like F, whatever, and then it goes into another one, and then like the very top ranking is SS class. It's literally just oh look, it says right there, drive code card. That is the rank, that is the, what the rankings were in this game. The risk rating. Literally just in lore risk rating. In lore rankings. Pretty neat. Tell me, I played at least 245 fucking times online. Right now 52, back in 9. These are some characters I didn't even know I played. Hazama 123. Tsubaki 66. Lambda 114. I played Arachne 18 times. I must have been off a random. Wow, Kako. I mean, that's shallow compared to other stuff. Oh, here's the Warrior. 360 PSR. He's ranked 89. He must have found people after the game already ended because I don't remember him playing this. Win ratio 100%. He's only played 1 with Ragna. Okay. Yeah, he found people after the game ended. Okay. That is the rankings. There's not that much to go over after that besides like just the community. None of them are really organized. It was a lot of just like friend groups and who knows what. None of the data. I mean, it's still the way it is now, but it was a lot worse. You literally could only use Dust Loop, and it was like a handful of people who even were able to rip the data. Because no one really gave a shit about fighting games, let alone BlazBlue.
Yeah.
I feel like we're missing something. I mean, we could talk about Abyss, but that's pretty self-explanatory. It's the same thing, just dumbed down. You don't have like the special effects like, oh, outlines, or like, oh, do more of this. We went over the story. It's more introspective than it is just watching a TV show. This is before they made X-Blaze though, so they didn't really experiment with VN style. We did go over the Guilty Gear the Guilty Gear relationship and how that was the reason the game sped up. We went over the combo extension system and Hakumen's convertibility. There's not really that much to go over. All I can really tell you besides that is Hazama was the meme lord. And that was why Hazama was popular in CPE, and then why he's not popular anymore. It's not Continuum Shift anymore. And he's also ass. Barely shows up in the story. I mean, he's popular, but he's not like... I don't know. You know how, like, you talk about Zelda, most people think Breath of the Wild, like, immediately? And how that was, like, that blew up? Well, like, the word on the street isn't Hazama anymore. The word on the street's, like, Susanoo or someone else. Like, Hazama's just not the hot shit anymore, basically. Everybody can't get enough of him. I can now. There's not that much more to cover. It was pockets of friend groups. Well, we had. Well, let me rephrase this. We had some coverage of the game on, like, you know, the third party.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The little, you know, the forums. Like, it was stuff like not even IGN though. It was what game fact boards. The little cheat. Remember when we had cheat codes? They had the little boards for that too. Like, oh, you want to go get your cheat codes for cars made or national? Well, yeah, why don't you stop by the BlazBlue Continuum Shift section while you're at it? Download the save file to your memory card for your USB and just load that. Because that was a thing back in the day. You want to put the work in for the game, you would do that for this and Calamity Trigger. There's not that much more to say other than the fact that it was other than what we've already talked about. There's not a competitive scene to really talk about because it was so old. Nothing was really developed besides Melee.
No real competitive scene. No. The community was just too small.
The community was too small and just not. They didn't connect very much. I'll put it to you that way. They didn't. It was just pockets of different people, and there was no like universal. What's the word? Unifying reason for them to all be together, for them to give a shit about one another. They didn't care. They just cared about beating whoever the fuck they ran into or their friend or their neighbor, and then talking shit. That was it. There wasn't like this universal love for the game itself that would drive them to do that, or to even mod. They just didn't care.
They were just apart.
Yeah. Fun fact though, I think no, it might be in the other games now, but voice chat was not toggleable, at least on the PC version. You could select it to either be always on or always off. I'll put it to you like Total Biscuit said before he died. In his review on Continuum Shift, he noticed this and he said, this is what he heard. Do you want a hot dog, dear? Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's what happens when you don't toggle it off. You just hear everything. You got his ass while he's playing Noel, because you know Noel was the pick up and play character back in the day. You just mash the drive button. Yeah, this game, honestly, I'd like to say it's more technical and more balanced than the newer games, especially the newer games. I like to say it's more, not only that, it's just more technical too, because there was a lot more like tech scenarios and a lot more combo options and conversion abilities. Hakumen's counter especially took a lot of thought. I'd like to say you couldn't just throw it out because you were reacting to something. Like you would have to like at least read it a little bit in advance. Because it had like what? It had like a 3-frame. No, not 3-frame. It had like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd like to say it was around a 7-frame startup. So you would have to time it. It wasn't like a 2-frame startup like it is now or something. It was a 7-frame startup. The actual counter hitbox to activate. And there's not much more that I can think of. Can you think of anything?
Not really. In terms of questions, you answered most of them. We were going over everything. I think this is actually the end game.
That felt a lot shallower than I thought it was going to be, though. There's gonna be questions. Someone's gonna ask questions at some point later down the line, and then we're gonna have to come back here and do a recap at some point.
Prepare for the recap stream in 365 days.
Probably. Actually, maybe not even ever. Actually, let me while we're here, allow me to show you why Jin was spammy. I'll do that. I just windowed out. I'm genius. Jin Kiza. Everybody had that universal. What's it? Actually, I'll show you Hakumen's counter too while I'm at it. So Jin had this. That's just mashing C. He had this, and this, and this. Do you see this? Not even using the combo. Look at this. He also had way more of the icicles. Like if you, oh yeah.
Jin plays kind of zone-ish in this game.
They called him spammy. No one respected Jin mains back in the day. he was not the character everyone played. Yeah, he also had this. Yeah, he doesn't have that anymore. Does not have this anymore. Which made for like, yeah, you get the idea. You can set up with this. You can't do that anymore. Or if I grab him, that's not what I want to do. If I grab him, no, fucking, see, that's not what I want to do. Actually, I forgot about that. You could do this too. You could do this in CT as well, but you could wrap it off a grab with Jin because it would just freeze them. And that was tech. That was actually some of the sickest tech too. There was no reason to do it other than just to style on someone. That's not what I meant to do. That's fine though, but basically you would... This looped, I think. Yeah, they changed it from looping though. That would loop twice. I don't know the confirm short, but you get the idea. You could confirm with a delayed one. You cannot do that anymore. Now let's do Hakumen. Misadish. I need to be playing as him, actually, hold on. Most people did not do that though. I'll show you what most people did by just turning him into an AI. Calm. Please don't hurt me, sir. How? Stop! Yeah, you see how the counter didn't activate on that one? Even though it looked like it was out? Did on that one though. Yeah, they would just do that. They'd like hit you and then they do like C. I'm trying to play Central Fiction Jin, which is not helping me. Oh my god! That's not a true combo, but holy shit. Thank you. Okay, hold on. Turn the heat off, we don't need that. Stop it. Sir. Holy shit, look how much this AI moves than it does in the later games, even at higher difficulties. God damn. Yeah, you would do that in the corner was probably one of the things most people did. But you would use Ice Car a lot like that. And it would just hit. And you'd also just do this. And if he tried to approach you, do that. Or if he tried to approach you from the air, you didn't space it correctly, you could hit. He's not showing it though. He's not showing it though because he's on hell level AI. I'd like to point out that he did a stomp and then he punched me in it. It's a true combo if you look at the side. It's a red. That's a true combo. He just did a true combo to me. He can't do that anymore. Alright, I'll show you Hakumen's and then we'll be done. Tutorial. Oh yeah, this is the start where you had the characters dubbing tutorial because we did not have a tutorial and we did not have a tutorial in Claim Your Trigger. In this game, some of these we would have Rachel voice them, and that was it. I'm supposed to be going to not training, I'm supposed to be going to challenge. Hakumen is a power character with varied combat tools. His very long reach and can unleash heavy, powerful blows. He is heavy on his feet, but he can deal great damage if he hits his opponent. On defense, he also has unique defensive tools as well. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up back in the day. Drive is the Zanshin, God Slash. When the opponent attacks Hakumen, pressing D at the correct timing, execute a counterattack. There's a brief period of invulnerability when the counterattack is successful. Standing and forward can counter high and mid attacks, while crouching D can counter mid and low attacks. Jumping D can counter high, mid, and low attacks. However, timing for countering attacks with it is more difficult if you're jumping. Standing D will only prevent attacks in the latter half of the animation, but it lasts longer than the other drive attacks. Forward D, crouching D, and jumping D stop attacks near the beginning of the animation, but the active duration is much shorter. Assess the situation, use the various drive attacks accordingly. See, gauge different, we already know this, but the drive attack is what I wanted to go over, because it's very different. Increase over time once the gauge is full, mag mana, blah 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 blah, you already know about that. Telling you how to space, telling you how to use the specials, blah 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 blah, shut up.
3, 2, 1, action.
If I just throw this out. Oh, never mind, it works. Hit it. Hit it. Don't grab me, hit me. Fast counter, slower counter. It's more, look, it's more whenever the counter's like fully visible. If he would fucking hit me though. I'm just gonna go into it. I'm gonna go into versus. It'll be faster. They'll actually hit you. Who has to get in your face to hit you? Ragna. Actually, I probably should have picked Tsubaki, because Tsubaki is less inclined to kick my ass. See, it activated in the latter half of that. That was a long time to react to that too. It was like a second and a half. Like it's in the ladder. Activated in the beginning, actually. That was supposed to happen. Not that. Yeah, see how that didn't activate even though it was the instant one? That one did. That one does because in front of the divider has a delay on it. Stop doing that. Stop. Stop! Punch me. Counter didn't even come out in time for that one. I think I'm dead. Yeah, I'm dead. This is really hard to showcase how I know to play here. See, that one activated really late. Lasts like 12 years like a counter in Smash Brothers. Very, very late activation. I don't know why it's that was an early activation. There we go. This is not showcasing what I wanted to. It is showcasing how long it lasts though compared to the new one. And nothing but spam that. Alright, I'm gonna try reacting. Oh. I'm timing this way too early. That was the fast one. Oh, you actually saw the difference? Oh, see, the fast one can't even catch in front of the divider. Because in front of the divider lasts too long. Oh, Blood Cane. Oh, shit. That's about all I had to cover.
Please select your character.
If anyone else has any other questions, put them in the comments, and instead of a stream, I'll probably just go over them.
The Vimeo.
I'll probably just respond to them in the comments, and then maybe eventually there's enough of them, we'll just do another one. That's bye-bye for now. Yes,